Hello everybody and welcome to my channel, Miss Jackie Russell, and this is my makeup looks for November. Now I am recording this at the end of November because I forgot to do an intro for my looks, and I usually do 3 or 4 looks and we'll go from look to look to look and you can see which one you like the best. And today I have a look that I want to tell you about real quickly. I also want to tell you that if you're new here and you like beauty, you like little tips and things like that and unboxing beauty, and also faith, I'm doing a beauty inside out faith study, or I guess devotion, with Bessie Hicks, and I do that on Mass Mondays. So join me for that. If you're interested, hit that like button, hit that notification bell, and hey, we'll just move on here to what I've got on today. But what I have on today is I got out my Ofra palette. I knew I was going to wear red, so I thought I would go with a natural or a nude tone eyes. And so I got out this palette. It's the Signature Palette Luxie, and that's basically what it calls it, or Lux. I don't know, with that E on there, if you call it Luxie or just Lux. But anyways, I used all those colors. As you can see, I started off with this color, which is the Rodeo Drive color, which is also a highlighter, but I used it as a highlighter up here and all across my eyes as a base. Then I came in with this color, which they call Divine, and then I followed up with this one over here. Now on my crease is this dark brown, and I brought the dark brown down into my corners of my eye. So, and she calls that just brown and clay, or those colors. So that is a mix of all the colors that's on my eyes using the simple Ofra palette. And like I said, she calls it her Signature Lux, or Luxie, whichever way, I'm not sure. But I'm going to go over this quickly. For my blush, I have my Fenty Poppy, and this is Lollipoppy. It's kind of a bright orange, but I thought it would go good with this red, and I put it on faintly because this is a very strong blush. It's also one of my favorites, so if you want to know what blush I wear the most now, I'd say it's my Fenty blushes. I have 3 colors. I love them all. Now, for my mascara, I use my PrimeLash, and guys, I'm a big fan of PrimeLash mascara. It's got nutrients in it. This is lengthening and volumizing mascara, and I have it in the Mulberry, or the Mulberry, which is kind of a, I don't know, like a maroon mauve color. And I just only put this on today, and you can see that it lifts and my eyelashes well, and I just love it. And I'm getting those nutrients, so I like that. For my eyeliner, I don't even know if I brought those in here. I use my brown from Estee Lauder, which this is a dark chocolate. So I've got that only to my inner corners, and I actually get a Q-tip and bring it forward underneath, and on top it's just halfway over. And then on the other part of that, I put my white Lancome, but I don't see that I brought it in here. Oh yeah, I did. I've got this white on, and I do that to my inside corners because that helps brighten up, and I also put it in my waterline, so because it helps brighten it up. So I've got that on, and that is pretty much my eye look. If you happen to be interested in PrimeLash, I do have a code. It's Miss Jackie Russell. So, and you'll save 15% with that. And on my lips, I have used my new that I just showed y'all, but I didn't actually put it, well, I think I did put it on. But this is the Natasha Denona, and it is in mauve. It calls it a berry pop lip crayon, and maybe that's the color, berry pop. So anyways, I've got that on as my liner. It is a nice, lovely liner, glides. I love her products. And then I got my MAC, And this is E for Effortless, and this is one of my favorite MAC colors, and it is a deep red, and it works beautifully. It's a little bullet, and I love MAC lipsticks. Of all my lipsticks, I probably have more MAC or Estee Lauder. I'm not sure. I may have more Estee Lauder. I'm not certain. I've got a lot of MAC lipsticks. I love MAC as products, so on the lips. And then, of course, Buxom. This is Plush Peach that I have on to boost my lips up a little bit. So anyways, that's the look. And we're going to go right on to the next look. And as this being November, and I hope this comes out in November, be sure to use an orange heart or a turkey in your description if you are going along with the Jubilee that we're having. One more month. We have November, then December is our last month of the year of the Jubilee 2025. Can you believe it? We've been giving away gifts every week. That'll be 52 weeks of gifts. So I think, you know what, I always do well, it's 52. It's probably more than that because I've done some bonuses. But anyways, on to the next video. Hey guys, we're on to the next look. And we are doing looks for this month. And this one today, I am featuring the Glamazon Tarte. And this is a beautiful palette. As you can see, I got a gorgeous look out of it. I really like it. It was easy to work with. And it's got some gorgeous colors, but I went with the basic, I guess you could say pretty much the browns. I did put a little bit of that blue, but you just can't even tell. I don't think that there's even any blue at all because I think it got covered up. But this is what the palette looks like, and it's very pretty. And I went with, of course, the color right here. That was my overall color right there. And then I went over that with this color and then the one over to it, and even on the one top. So I used those first four colors, kind of putting the light to the inside, and then that kind of that tannish color there. It just says Tarte. Probably tells me on here, maybe the colors, no, I can't read that. But anyways, that's what I used. And then I went over and used the dark brown. And the dark brown is in my crease and then off to the sides. Now there may be some hint of this blue because I did put blue on the quarter edges of the outer edges, I guess, coming down with that brown. But that was the look that I got, and I used a brown liner, and this was a liquid liner, and I want to say that this is by Mercy, you know, instead of saying Mercy, and it is a pen liner, and it works really good, and it's just got a nice thin line, and it was brown, and I thought that would work best. And then, of course, I did use my Estee Lauder cream in the waterline. I didn't bring it in here again. I forgot. But I want to at least tell you that because you can tell that it's lighter underneath here and then maybe lighter to the inside of the eyes. And then I used for my mascara, I went with the Man-Eater mascara. And this is really nice. It's got a nice wand on it. And I really like it. Let's see if we can lift them up a little more. It's a buildable mascara, and it's very nice. As you can see, I think it did build it more, and then I just doubled up with the Tartelette tubing mascara. Put that on top of there, and it's got a nice wand too. Anyway, I think it does a great job. I really like it. And for my blush, I used the Tarte, and I used that bronzy color there. That's what they called it. And I think it is called bronze. No, it's called Scenic. And then I used the Mystic. So I put this on, and then I put the Mystic on top. At first, I thought it was too brown, but I guess it's giving us like a fall look. So I went ahead and went with it, and it wasn't too bad. But I think using the white, you know, the highlighter over it kind of helped soften it out a little bit. And then I did use my Maracuja Lip Juicy Lip from Tarte, and this one here is in Creme Brulee. So it's a nice light color. It's easy to put on, and I've got a, you can see that it's a real faint color. So on top of that, I did put on my lip injection Too Faced, and I think this one here is Just a Girl. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Just a Girl Plumper. So I used the Too Faced on that, and I did use a Charlotte Tilbury lip liner, and this one here is Pillow Talk, I believe, or it might be Lip Cheat. I think this one's Lip Cheat, because it's, yeah, it's one of my favorite ones. Lip Cheat. There, you can see it right there. It's a nice color. I like it. But overall, I like the look. And then, of course, I sprayed my face with Estee Lauder setting spray, and then I put some more of the highlighter on. So that's what gave me this look today. And I'll have to say, I like it. You know, one of these days, I probably need to just go full blast with the dark colors again and see how what kind of look I get out of it. But I have been enjoying the more neutral tones that I've been using here lately, and I just want to show you what you can get out of all these different palettes. And of course, I got this from BoxyCharm, and I like it, so I'm glad I got it. But this is this look, so you let me know what you think about this Tarte Glamazon look is, how you like it. You let me know. And do you have that palette, and do you have any of these other products that I use? My foundation was Estee Lauder Double Wear as usual. But that's all I have for this one. So let's go on to the next look. Okay, we're on to the next look. And this is a lovely look, I think, using this little Lithe palette, which only has 6 colors in it: Sheer, Amber Blush, Stone, Nova, Onyx. And I used every color in this palette, and it made a nice soft look with a little bit of glam, I guess, or a little bit of, well, I guess with a little bit of a smoky eye. That's what I'm trying to think. But yeah, I used each color, and they're really soft colors, except of course this onyx down here, and I use that in my corners. I started off with this one all over my eyes, and that was the sheer color, and I used it for a base, up and down, you know, the whole eye, to the inner sides, all the way up and over to the brow. And then I came over with this little pink color, which they call blush, and put that all over my lids. And I used this brown color that they call Stone as my crease line. And then I accentuated with some of this on the eye, kind of toward the end, but I don't even know if you can tell. And then I used this, of course, in the corners, and I put this on top, right to the insides on both sides, and I also swept some up across the top of my brow. So that was the look that I got with this one as far as the eyeshadows go. And I used Estee Lauder for my eye pencils. Yep, I did. And I used this one, but guess what? It's fixing to be ended, because today when I pulled it out, see how there's hardly none left to sharpen? This actually fell out, and I patted it back down in there. So when I get done with that little part, this one's over, and I'll have to get out my other one. And then I used, this is a 2-ended Estee Lauder, and this here is, I don't know what color that is, Rich Bronze, which maybe I should have used that one, but instead I used this one, which is Dark Chocolate. So I used that halfway over on tops of my eyes and over, and then underneath. And then I only went so far, but then I got my Q-tip and smudged it. And I gave myself just a little bit tip wing on each side with this. And of course, I went on the insides of my waterline with the cream color and just a little bit, I did that last time, just a little bit on each side up and over. But then by the time I put on shadows, it kind of tones that down. Now my blush is the Fenty blush, and this here is the Poppy, and I really like this one. I like all the ones that I've gotten. They're really nice. And it's got, you can make it a soft color or a bold color, and I went kind of soft today. And on my mascara, I use Bad Gal Bang. This is Benefit Cosmetics, and this is really a lovely mascara. I'm surprised I hadn't used it before. I've had this in my bathroom forever, and I don't know why I haven't used it, but the other day I opened it up and I was like, okay, I can see why people really like the Benefit Cosmetics mascara. And I did top it off with Swede, which is a lash lift mascara. And you can see they're pretty well lifted right now, but even just adding a little bit of this, and I don't know if that's supposed to be so wet like that, but you can kind of see the comb maybe. But you just lift it up and it's supposed to extend them. I think it did. And I like that you can extend them more. That's really cool. So I like the mascara that I chose. And then, of course, on my lips, I went real simple with some Natasha Denona. I used her lip liner, Daphne, which needs to be sharpened real soon. And then I also used her lipstick. And I don't even know if we can see. Oh, it's Daphne too, so it's the same color. And it's just a nice neutral color that I used on my lips. And then I topped it off with Charlotte Tilbury. And this is her Pillow Talk Big Lip Plumpgasm. And I really like this. It's really good. It's just a mauve color. It goes on top of that just perfectly. And I topped off my look, I guess you could say, after I sprayed my face with my Estee Lauder setting spray. And I used the Mario highlighter here. And I just dashed that on there for just a little bit of a glow. So this is the simple look that I got out of the Lithe eyeshadow palette. And once again, this is what it looks like. And it's just a very soft, dewy look. So you let me know. Are you a soft glam or a cool glam? Or how do you say that? Are you, I don't know what I'm trying to say. But anyway, let me know if you like this nice little soft, smoky look. And now, on to the next one. Okay, we're on to the next look. And this is a BellaPierre. Yes, I finally used my Safari BellaPierre Cosmetics eyeshadow palette. And it's got, what, 35 colors in there? Yes, it's so beautiful. And I'm going to show you the colors. It does have a color saver on there. Hopefully you can see them okay without me taking it off, because they kind of got it set up where it'll stay on there and you can just flip it over and then put it back, which is really nice. But on this palette, I went down this row right here. And I used every single color, and I used a little of this cream as a highlight, and I went and put a dab of this green. You can't have a safari look without a green, and so I have that in just like placed to the outside edges on both sides, and then I have the brown, which is the darker brown right here on the outer edges and coming in from the outside inward. And then I have this in my upper crease mixed in with the brown. I have this color in there as well, which is kind of like a tiger looking color. And I have these two colors on the lid, as you can see. And yeah, that completed the look. So gorgeous, gorgeous palette. Sorry for the little bit of shine in there, but that is the look that I got out of this one. And I really like it. I wanted to share it with you real quick. And also with that, I used a BellaPierre banana loose powder that I have, and this is kind of a yellowy color, but it went on good over my concealer. I used my BBB Billion Dollar Brow for my brow liner, and I used a Revant, and this is Revant's Brown, and this is a gel eyeliner. It smooths right on. But I have heard from one customer or from one of my friends that she got this and it was a little stiff. So I want to say, if you bought something that didn't seem like the quality was there, be sure and get back in touch with Revant, because they'll probably replace it. It might have been a bad batch. And then I used Lancome's white in my waterline, and then a little bit on each side just to open up my eyes. I did more of a cat eye look today with this. Since I was doing safari. And then my mascara, I used my PrimeLash mascara, and you all know I love PrimeLips and their products, and this volumizing mascara is wonderful. It has a great little brush on there. It's got nutrients in it, so there's vitamins and nutrients to help your eyelashes grow. And of course it extends the over 40 and mature look very well. My code is Miss Jackie Russell. You save 15% off your total order. I'll have my code and link down in my description. And while we're talking about PrimeLips, I did use the Raspberry lipstick, and I love this lipstick. It's one of my favorite. It is a beautiful, beautiful color. And we'll get into more in that in just a minute. On my cheeks, I used Charlotte Tilbury, and this was from my mystery box, and this was the pink. So Pillow Talk pink, and then the shiny highlighter I put over the top of it, which worked beautifully. I love this. You don't have to use much of Charlotte Tilbury. And then I used my Estee Lauder Bronze Goddess for my contouring underneath my chin. Now on my lips, I used the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk, and I think that's what this color is. No, it's Lip Cheat. And then over it as a base, I use Catwalking, which is a full lipstick that I've had for a while, and it's getting on down to the end. And then of course I put the Raspberry from PrimeLips. It's their PrimeLips lipstick. It's moisturizing, has hyaluronic acid, keeps your lips moist all day. And of course today I decided to top off with Buxom. This is their White Russian lip oil, and I love it. And it's got a huge doe foot on it, and it is just wonderful. And it doesn't sting, but it plumps your lips. And then I wanted to mention I did use my primer from Glow Recipe. This is the BHA Pore Smooth Blur Drop Primer, and I really love this primer. This is almost empty, but I have another one. But that's my look today. So be sure and use an emoji down in the description if you're interested in the Jubilee, the little, well, if this comes out in November, I think it will, you'll use the orange heart and a turkey, and you'll be eligible as long as you use that in a sentence down below. But that's the look I have today. Let me know what you think. I really like it. I think it's a great little safari look with my blouse. And that's it. And now on to the next look. Hey guys, I'm back with another look. Now I'm not sure if this is going to drop in for November's look or December's look. I'm cutting it on the edge here because I got my Ultimate box so late. But everything I have on my face is basically what I got in my ultimate box, including the Natasha Denona Yucca palette. And that is the look that I got out of it using her shades in that palette. And I used the liner, the Bisha liner. I used it in the dark brown. I have some coffee here. There's my power coffee that I have. That's right, I put matcha tea, a 1/4 teaspoon, a 1/2 teaspoon of turmeric, about a 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, a dash of pepper, and I put in a little ginger. These are all ground. And then I put in my collagen, and then I add in some coconut oil for my MCTs, and there's a little butter, real butter, only buy real butter. And let's see, what else is in there? Oh, some cocoa. And then I just mix it all together. So it's not sweet, it's probably earthy, but it's supposed to help you walk better after 40. It's supposed to do lots of things inside your body. So that's my little power coffee. I usually have it around lunchtime. And guys, you don't want your coffee super hot when you're putting that in there, or it'll destroy some of the nutrients. But hey, let me show you what I used. I did tell you I used the Natasha Denona Yucca palette, and this is what it looks like. It is beautiful, and yes, you can probably tell I used that bright green. Yes, I did, all the way across the lid. That's over here. I used this brown in the corners. I used this dark green next to it. And then I put this color next to it. And then I went over it with this color, like to give it the glitter, and I've got the glitter up on top. And I used this brown and smudged it or blended it for that look, you know, to give me that smoky look. And let me see, is there anything else I used? I might have used a dab of this right here. And I think I even used a dab of that. And that's what I blended into my lids. So anyways, I think I got a great look out of it. And it's a beautiful palette. It just came in the Ipsy Natasha Denona. And it's gorgeous. Yes, it is. Alright, so that was my palette. Then remember the Bisha? God, this eyeliner stays on great. I don't know if y'all remember I marked myself the other day. Well, I don't take a shower every day. It's about every couple of days. This was still on there, the black and the brown. So Bisha eyeliners are there to stay, and I loved it. So I used that eyeliner. I also came in with another eyeliner because I didn't have a light color. I did come in with my Estee Lauder, and this is the blue, and that's what's in my waterline. So I tapped it with a little blue and just to the insides lightly. So that's on my eyes to kind of bring them out more. And then, of course, I used the mascara. And this was the Persona, and this is one of those, oh, I forgot what they call it. It's in black. It's a mascara, but it's, well, I don't remember. It kind of like coats your eyelashes. I just can't think of the name right now. But anyway, I used that, and it worked really well. I think it really pulled my lashes out. I am 65, but I have to give Prime Promedics their Prime Serum and their Prime Lash a lot of credit for my lashes. I don't curl them or anything. I just put on mascara. So they've really helped them get thicker and grow. Okay, I did use the Say blush, and that's what's lightly on my cheeks. And it worked out really good. It's a creamy base. It's really pretty. It's kind of a rosy or a peachy pink maybe. I don't know, maybe orangey, but looks a little pink there, but that's what's on my cheeks. And then I forgot to tell you, I did use the Natasha Denona concealer, and that's on my eyes, and I used my Estee Lauder foundation. I put this concealer on, then I used the Rodile face powder to set it. And I know some of y'all said setting powder like rests on your face and your cracks. I don't see that happening on my face. So I don't know what kind you're using, but you need to set it as soon as you've got it on. So like when you're putting on your foundation and your concealer, set it right then and then go on with your other products, or that's what I do. But anyway, I used the Rodile, and I couldn't necessarily show y'all the color the other day, but it's really nice. I got that, used that. I did use my Golden Goddess, Bronze Goddess. I called it Golden. I think I have the Golden, but this is the Bronze Goddess for my contouring just underneath here and a little bit under my cheeks there. And on my lips, I used that Lithe, I don't know how you pronounce it, but I used this fill-in lip pencil, and it was in Scarlet, and I have that on as my liner, and I kind of did fill in a little bit. Worked out great. And then, since I've been using Natasha Denona, I got out my Natasha Denona Lippy. This is a real pretty one. I think this is the one in Daphne. Yeah, that's what it said, Daphne. And this is the color. It's kind of a real neutral pink. And I don't know if y'all remember, but I got Rodile lip oil the other day. So I put that little light pink on top of that. Very, very nice. And also, if you'll recall, I bought the Dragon Bloods hyaluronic drink, hydrate and tone, and I sprayed this on after my face. And then when I did that, I got my Natasha Denona highlighter. Yep, I did. And then I highlighted my face through my cheeks right there. And you do that after you put on your spritz or your setting spray. I use that for setting spray. And then I also put a light brush of that up on my eyebrows. So that's my look today. And like I said, I don't know if this is going to be in November or December. But I wanted to show y'all this look because I got a really nice Natasha Denona look. They go on smooth. They're creamy. They're just wonderful to work with. And as you can tell, they blend so beautiful. Yes, they do. So thank you very much, Natasha Denona. And I love the palette. So that's all I have for this look. So on to the next look. Okay, we're back where we started off. I started this with the Ofra palette, and I'm ending it with the Ofra palette because I did not get a suitable ending. And you just saw several different looks. And remember, if you want to see the Dollar Tree look that I got, go back and look at that video. I'll try to have it plugged in here. And I did a Laura Geller look. And that was a get ready with me. And both of those are kind of a get ready. And ironically, if you want to see another get ready, in my Mega Drop sale, I did do a look with the Mega Drop sale that I bought the Smash Box. I think it was their holiday palette that was in their advent calendar. I did a beautiful look with that, and you can go and see that video as well. And I'll just try to drop these all through this videos in case you want to go see those looks. But they're, like I said, they're kind of more like get ready with me videos, so I didn't want to throw it into this as well. So I hope you enjoyed the looks. Let me know which look you liked the best. And don't forget to use your orange heart or a turkey for November. Now remember, we will be changing emojis for December. So when December 1st rolls around here, be sure and be on the lookout to hear what my new emojis are for the last month of the Jubilee giveaways. And just remember also on those Jubilee giveaways that YouTube nor any of the brands that I show are affiliated with them. You do have to be 18 years or older, and you do have to have an address within the continental USA. So anyways, that's the Jubilee, and I have a collab that's come out or gonna come out at the end of November, and I don't know exactly how long that one will last, but there'll be opportunity there. But as for today and this video of all these makeup looks for November, that's all I have. And as usual, I wish you all a blessed and happy day. Bye-bye.